You are listening to The Catholic Wire.
Hello, and welcome back to The Christian Mother. I'm Wendy Haught, and in today's episode, we continue our discussion with Michelle Landsgard and Anna Sandquist about meeting the challenges of being the mother of several little children when you don't have any older children to help. In part one, we discussed everything from daily routines to the pros and cons of having husbands working at home. In this segment, we start off talking about dirty laundry. No, we weren't gossiping. We were talking about washing clothes and bedding. From there, we launched into everything from adventures in potty training to the joy of creating home altars. Along the way, we share many laughs, so jump right in and enjoy the ride. Michelle, let us hear about how you conquer the laundry issue with all these little people.
Right. So I do it twice a week, Tuesdays and Fridays. And usually I have 2 loads each day. And that's kind of how I keep up. I have the kids help sort and put their clothes away. So that helps. So I do the folding, which I will admit I don't actually fold their clothes. I fold my clothes and my husband's clothes, but the kids' clothes, I'm like, they're not going to stay folded. So I kind of just put them into piles and then they put them away. I think it just saves time and it helps me because it's not like I'm having to fold 100 individual shirts and pants. I just kind of put them in a pile and then they put them away. And generally they're pretty unwrinkled.
And they're small anyway, so it doesn't require as much folding.
Right. So. And the hanging I just do. Obviously their church clothes I'll hang up and so they don't get wrinkled and messed up.
So you don't have any kids that change clothes like 3 times a day when you're not watching?
I have that problem. Okay. My 3-year-old is going through that stage and it's a constant battle, or spilling water on themselves. But I just kind of make them put their clothes away. If I see them on the floor, I'm like, you need to do this. I'm not your slave. Right. So they kind of have to help with the clothes, and it's better some days than others. Obviously during the winter and during the muddy season, that's worse. And we have to do laundry more often, or, when bedding gets peed on, you have to do that more often. So it kind of changes, but generally I like to just have laundry Tuesday and Friday. And that helps me because it's just like, it's my laundry day and that's when I take care of it and stay on top of it.
Well, that used to be the way everybody did things. They had certain days where that they did laundry on, and a baking day, a laundry day, whatever. So are there any other days that you have designated that help you keep on any kind of schedule? Or
I would say Wednesday we come in for mass and we do piano, so I have errands and grocery shopping because I just have my 2 younger children, so it's easier to take 2 of them than 4 of them. And then Thursday I have my study group in the evening, and so that's more my baking day because I usually bring something to that, so I'll bake sourdough or bake bread for the day. Mm-hmm. And then Friday is just laundry and relaxing. We usually watch a movie and it's kind of just a chill, not doing too much. And that helps me. I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to get to Friday and then I can kind of take it easy and stay home. And then the weekend is, for catching up on things and doing stuff as a family. So that's kind of what I do.
Anna?
Nice. That's pretty great that you have laundry days. I think my sister is like that too, and I tried to do that. I think I'm not as scheduled. So I typically do about a load a day, and that helps me to keep on top of folding things. And I'm the same way. Like, I don't fold my children's clothes. I'll just kind of like plop them in their drawers. My daughter, she'll empty her drawers a lot to change into outfits, like you said, or she has a dress-up bin, and then everything becomes dress up, like all her dresses, all the dress up clothes, all that. So one thing that really helps me to keep on top of laundry is to have a smaller inventory. So with my daughter, she does have quite a bit more clothes than my son, because my son doesn't dress up. He'd rather wear like a king crown than have a whole dress up outfit or something like that. So his clothes, he only has like a handful of shirts and a handful of pairs of pants. And that's so easy. With my daughter, she has a ton of shirts and a ton of dresses and a ton of pants, but it's not like overwhelming for me. It's not so many that I feel like I'm just cleaning up clothes all the time or folding laundry all the time. And then for my husband and I, we have pretty much like clothes that we wear a lot during the week, and then our Sunday clothes, and then like a couple extra things for special occasions. And that's pretty much how I keep on top of it. It's just by eliminating the amount. So we tend to head towards like decluttering type of like minimalist lifestyle, try to just use things that serve many purposes and things like that, because otherwise we live in a world of plenty, like plenty of toys, plenty of clothes. And so over the last couple of years, I've tried to minimize the amount of items that we have in our home, and it helps a lot that we've moved like 4 times as a married couple.
Goodness.
So
oh my goodness.
Every time we move, we get rid of a bunch of things. And this last move, we actually sold all of our furniture in Oregon. We got rid of just a ton of extra things. We redid all of our, I sold all of our plates and things that we had gotten from our wedding originally, and then simplified it into things that now that we're 6 years into marriage, we kind of use things already a little bit differently. So that helps a lot.
Wow. I still have boxes in our attic from when we moved 5 years ago that we never opened. So
I feel like I need to move just to do that.
I know.
Just start over.
Gives you a head start when you move. You think, oh man, I have to move this stuff. Do I want to unpack it again? And so I just get rid of it.
Well, I saved all of the homeschooling books because I thought, well, my grandchildren might need these books, and they might, not be available by then. So
we need to talk then.
But now when we do move, our next move will be into a much smaller house. So I will have to be doing what you did. I will have to be decluttering and selling a lot of stuff.
I think you do it once when you're packing, and then again when you're unpacking. Is this worth unpacking? I don't know. Or is this worth packing? It's a lot to move. So
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay. We didn't really talk about nighttime routines as far as baths and that kind of stuff. Do you all have any special tips, tricks you want to share for making that go smoothly?
So as strange as it is, all of my children love taking baths. They just love it. So they're actually usually the ones that ask to take baths, which is weird, but they love baths. So we usually bathe them, a couple times a week, usually every Saturday night, which is obvious.
All of them on the same night?
Yeah, we just do 2 at a time. So we'll do 2 and then 2. But yeah, usually my husband helps a lot with that. He typically does bath while I'm cleaning up from dinner. So we tag team it, which is great. And then it's helpful to kind of have that as a routine too, but we don't really have set days. So it's usually just before the rosary. So it's after dinner, I'll clean up. My husband will give baths, and then we'll pray the rosary. So, and it's not every night, but like I said, usually they beg me to take a bath. So sometimes I'm like, I don't want to give you a bath. You're not that dirty. So it's different. I don't know if all kids are like that.
Yeah, I had heard when I first became a mother that you bathe your child every day, tuck them in, read them a story, all that. But yeah, our kids get definitely a bath on Saturday, and then typically on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, one of them will get a bath. And especially in the winter, they're not really going outside too much. I think in the summer, swimming and then getting quite a bit more dirty and all of that. But we have something really similar. And I don't know what it is. Our husbands just take over the baths, which is really nice. I will typically do like the first or the second half of a bath, like get them into the bath and undressed and get it all ready, or be the one who helps them. Well, actually, it's just my older daughter can get herself all dressed. So yeah, I help my son typically and my youngest daughter out of the bath. But as far as the night routines, my husband puts our older two to bed and I put our baby to bed. And so I think when hopefully we have another baby soon, then we might just do like 2 and 2. And so it kind of splitting it up helps a lot. I know that a lot of parents don't have the luxury of like a husband being home after 5, but we both do, which is extremely nice. I think it's a really big blessing. So yeah.
So bedtime stories?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we usually do like we'll do rosary and then night prayers, and then they clean up, and then we'll do a book. So it's not every night, but sometimes we use it as like if you hurry up and get your room cleaned, we'll read you a book, and it's incentive for them. So yeah, it helps, and they're more willing to clean up. So that's nice.
Yeah, we definitely do the book before bed. My husband will have them each pick a book and then they read it. And then, but we do like to do also a lot of reading during the day, which that's when I read to my kids, and then my husband will read to them at night if things get cleaned up and all of that. So yeah, but we don't do stories, or right now we don't do like chapter books. I know, like, don't you guys do chapter books? So
yeah, we like chapter books. Like we're going through Narnia right now, which I wasn't sure if they would like it, but my 2 oldest, Daria and Ella, they actually love the books so far. So it's good. Ben always reads them, those books. I don't really as much, but yeah, he likes it and they like it. So it's nice. It's kind of calming. And the 2-year-old and the 3-year-old never pay attention, but that's obvious. So
right,
it's good for the older kids.
Yeah, and nice for dad to read to them.
Yeah, it's really nice to be able to have the times where each parent gets to like bond a little bit with the child, because the days can seem so busy, and then you want to be able to get to know your child and spend those times with them. So that's really nice.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, here's a fun one. Potty training? Any?
If I could farm out one parenting thing, it would be that. But I would say don't rush it. That is my advice, because I definitely tried rushing it with my oldest, and she was not ready, and it was a battle. We were just butting heads and fighting, and it was just a mess. And then I literally just stopped. She was about 2.5, and I just stopped altogether. And then at about 3, or a little bit after, she was ready, and she got potty trained in about 3 days. So it was a night and day difference. My 3-year-old right now is by far my hardest. So she's very independent, but she at the wrong times, I guess. So yeah, she's difficult. I have to always help her through it and guide her and be like, no, you cannot do this by yourself. I need to help you. And she still wears diapers at night, but we're getting there. She's good during the day. So I'm waiting to see how my boy is going to be, because I've heard boys are harder. I don't know if that's always true, but yeah, we'll see. He's almost 2, so we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But I would also say just I like incentives, so either stickers or chocolate chips, and we usually give a couple chocolate chips for each time, or 1 chocolate chip for going, and that helps because it just keeps it exciting. But then my 3-year-old likes to take advantage of that. She goes every 10 minutes. And I'm like, you're not getting a chocolate chip every 10 minutes. You have to find boundaries with that as well. Right. But generally with most kids, I would say that works. So.
Yeah. Sorry. I totally agree. Waiting until your child is ready. I think we do try every so often, but with our daughter, she was a little bit easier to potty train. And so we kind of did it a little early. It was before she was 2. And then our son, we had tried a handful of times, and I was thinking, oh, he is not ready. And then we waited until he was ready, just a couple months later, and he just did it right away. He's he'll be 3 in April, and he really just took to potty training. He's great. He even is potty trained through the night. It's like a miracle, because that didn't happen for my older daughter until she was 4. Potty training through the night is kind of a big milestone as well. So yeah, I just, any tips for potty training, I guess, would just be prepare for the mess, and it's pretty short-lived, like the biggest part of it. After that, it's kind of like the little battles of wetting the bed and all of that. We have these mats, like potty training mats. I really recommend them. I don't remember where I got them, online or something, but you just, when they wet the bed, it only gets on the mat, it soaks it up, and then you don't have to wash the sheets, or I wash the blankets and stuff, but it's that helps a lot, because sometimes it's like 5 days in a row they wet the bed or something.
Laundry.
So, yeah. But
I would say too, really quick, another helpful tip maybe would be doing it during summer, because they're outside a lot more, so it's just literally less mess. And it's like, if they go outside, it's just not as big of a deal. It's not on your carpet. It's not on your floor. So that actually, I've done that with all of them, and that's saved me some sanity, I think.
nice.
So, but the thing is, boys outside will prefer to go outside.
See, I haven't come to that yet, so.
Oh, yes.
That's true.
I had that.
3 girls in a row. Oh, yeah.
I had that issue. So, anyway, okay. So, domestic church, we've talked a lot about the things that you've worked in with the faith. Do you have a home altar? Okay, tell me about your home altar, Anna.
Yeah, so our home altar has changed. I actually remember when Michelle would show me her home altar in pictures, and it's really beautiful. So I'm excited for when you talk about yours. But it kind of like changes with time. When we first got married, we had Sacred Heart images that were a gift, and then a beautiful statue of Our Lady holding the child Jesus from my dad. And so I don't think too many, you don't typically start out with like a giant statue. We were really blessed in that regard. So then over time, it's changed a lot to being like pretty simple, or to having like every statue up there. But right now, I think we've kind of come to a good setup, in my opinion. I like to change it like all the time. And so, but right now I really like it. We have it set up to where it is like looks like an altar, candles, and it's simple. And then we'll have like greenery or flowers. And then we also recently, on January 12th, got our home enthroned to the Sacred Heart. And so just making that the highlight, not having so many things up there, because that's kind of my problem. I like to just group everything together. But it's really wonderful to have the home altar, the center of your living area. And so pretty much everywhere that a TV would typically be, we don't have a TV, so we just put our home altar there. And so it's typically like the mantle, or like a big setup in our house. They have this really nice area where a TV might go, and it's perfect for our statue and the Sacred Heart images. So, And then one thing about the home enthronement is that you can put the certificate up, and then put pictures of the families that you like specifically want to pray for, like your family and extended family and friends. And so that is also up there right now.
I haven't heard. That's a great idea. I hadn't heard that before.
Father Selner did our home enthronement, and he gave a little sermon and on our couch, or like to us when we were sitting on our couch, which was really nice. And he mentioned that. And so I thought, wow, yeah, you can see the graces flowing from the enthronement into these families. And yeah, I think a home altar is just a perfect way to bring church home with you and make your home a living church. So
yeah, I've often wondered whether that's what happened. That I always, what happened? How did all the Catholics go along with Vatican II when everything got so changed and everything? And I thought, I wonder if they put TVs where their home altars used to be, and that became their focus. But anyway, it's just I don't know, wild idea. But
Right.
Yeah. I want to hear about your home altar, Michelle.
I would say similar. We are very blessed in that we have been given so many beautiful statues. My brother, Father Philip, who's a priest, he pretty much handcrafted our crucifix, which is just beautiful. And he also redid our family statue. We have this life-size statue of the Blessed Virgin Mary, which I had since childhood. And as my wedding gift, my mother and my brother fixed it and repainted it and made it beautiful and gave it to me as a wedding gift. So I have that in my home, and it's in our sunroom. It's not quite as focal, but I don't want the kids to break it. So that's kind of why it's not as focal, but that's a really great statue. And we do the May crowning, and we replace her crowns every so often. So we're going to do one on St. Valentine's Day. We'll recrown her and do a pink crown, and it's fun for the kids. It kind of
nice.
makes
That's
it
such a good
special.
idea.
And then we have a little bookshelf where we keep because our house is really small, but we have our home enthronement pictures in our bookshelf. And then we have a little altar where I change it a lot. I like to do feast days, so I'll print out pictures of the saint for the day, and I have a little chalkboard, and I'll decorate it and just make it fun. And I kind of have the kids help sometimes, and I'll put candles or flowers. And Christmas is fun. You can do the Advent wreath, and you can do the baby Jesus. And Lent, we do like a crown of thorns, so the kids get to put toothpicks or take the toothpicks out of the crown and not put them in. Well, sometimes, yeah. But ideally, they'll take them out. So that's kind of what we like. Right. So when they do something good, then I'll tell them they can take a thorn out. So that's kind of what we like to do. And then our crucifix is right kind of around that area too. So.
It's so nice to have like a statue or something for each liturgical season, because there are not too many. So then just changing out, just having like the Pieta during Lent, or like a joyous statue for other times of the year, not to take too long. But yeah, it really is something to strive for, to bring the liturgical season into your home. And then your children can see that, because oftentimes little children just go to Mass on Sundays. And so it is obviously wonderful to go to Mass on Sundays, but to live your faith, it's great to see it every day and know what season it is. I love when my daughter is saying like, oh, it's not Christmas, or it's Lent, or what is Lent? Or, yeah, just always looking forward to the next season, because even though Lent brings a lot of sacrifice, it is something to look forward to. You know, it's necessary for us. And so, yeah.
Right.
It's great.
Very good. Any particular books that help you with teaching religion or inspire you as far as changing your home altar, or any particular book that you'd like to recommend?
I would say How to Raise Good Catholic Children by Mary Reed Newland is definitely a great book. Every mom should read. I think Anna might have told me about it actually, but yeah, it was great. It just goes through so many details of the liturgical year and how to really make the faith come alive for your kids. And then another one that's similar is Around the Year by the Von Trapp family. Has just great customs, great traditions, and I've used so many things out of that book. And it's just great. I think I come back to it almost every season and find new ideas and new things that I can do for my family. So definitely recommend that.
I think you're supposed to bury the Alleluia today. So.
Is it today? Oh, that's good to know.
I think so. Tomorrow's... Right. Yeah, tomorrow's Septuagesima.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right.
So, okay.
The same book is definitely, How to Raise Good Catholic Children. I think it was a year or two ago that I read it, and it just, my daughter started asking some harder questions, and I thought, I know my faith like a good amount, but it's difficult when you have to simplify it and teach your children or answer their young questions. And so that book really just helps you to understand your faith more, especially as a convert, like the descent of the Holy Ghost. And I didn't know how to explain something like that to my child. so that book really just makes it so that you are kind of the child learning, and then you can teach your child the things that you have learned. Mm-hmm. So I highly recommend that book. I've given it away. I've recommended it to like everybody just because it's really wonderful. And then a couple of books for me, like The Mirror of True Womanhood is a really good book, and Mother Love from the Confraternity, and then The Story of a Family, Zelia and Lewis Martin, the parents of Saint Therese. I think that book is really great, especially if you have like children with illnesses or a child that passes away or something like that. It really helps to see God's will in all things. And as a mother, like you have to accept a lot. And personally, that book helped me with like the heavier things versus like the light things, which would be like teaching your children. So yeah.
Sorry, one more I would recommend, which isn't necessarily Catholic, but it's Loving the Little Years. And that is a great book. It's helped me so much. I think I've read it 4 or 5 times now.
Oh, really?
I just read it every time I'm at rock bottom, and it just helps me make it through. And it's this mom who has very little kids who are very close in age, and I just relate to everything she says. So that is another one.
My sister actually she had been telling me for years, and you probably told her about it, but she had been telling me for years to listen to it, and I never did. But it's only an hour and a half on
It's really
Audible.
short. Yeah, it's a really small, short, easy read, which is nice too.
Yeah, it completely changes your mindset as a mother, especially when you're kind of in the pit of things, and it just gives you, that's where I got the individual child thing. They all just do one little thing, and sometimes it can be like, children, what are you doing? But instead it's acknowledging that they are just individuals, and they just each did something silly, and just to move past that, give yourself the time to clean things up and not react. And then afterwards, everything's done, you can kind of let a breath out and say, okay, I got through that. And it helps for having young children for sure. So
okay, Loving the Little Years. And do you know who it's by?
Something Janovich. I forget her first name.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll figure it out in
Rachel
Janovich. Okay.
Rachel Janovich. Okay. Okay. What about keeping evils out of the home? I think this was something Anna particularly wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I'm kind of, I think it's just because of my conversion and converting like shortly before I had children that I kind of can see, because when I was growing up, there were a lot of evils that entered our home, not by fault of anybody except that we just lived in the world. And so I have over the years, I've slowly started rooting things out. So we don't have a TV. Doesn't mean that we don't ever watch movies or something, but our kids don't get like screen time, and instead we replace that time with reading. So I think replacing a lot of evils like secular music and yeah, like immodest images and things like that can creep into your home. That's something that I'm always aware of, like not compromising on movies that we watch or that we play. Those are 2 big ones. And the priests lately, just since we've moved back here, I've noticed, because we have children now, whereas when we left, we had a little baby. So, but I just noticed that they do mention that a lot, keeping TV and music at bay in your home, and
worldly music.
Yes. And replacing it with hymns. And I think our faith is so rich. There's so much that you can focus on, and so much that you can bring into your home. So keeping the world out and then replacing that with hymns and like even like the Sound of Music
and
or
folk
things
music,
like that.
and
so,
there's
wholesome things. There's so much that you can do that's wholesome. You don't need any of the things that could scandalize them or anything.
Right. So now, are you the one who's, I can't remember, somebody told me that somebody's children were already had these Latin hymns memorized.
Oh, yes. So my daughter, when she was 18 months old, Juliana, she could sing the whole Immaculate Mary song. It might have been before she was 18 months old, like 15 months old. I couldn't believe it. Like we had sang it before, but she knew the whole thing. And then, she knows like Pange Lingua, Tantum Ergo. She knows a ton of Latin hymns. She just takes to them and sings them. And so all the time we're singing, you know, I'm not like a great singer or anything, but instead of singing songs that I used to know, I sing songs that, hymns or just like folk music or good music. So, I think it influences your children a lot. Then those hymns are so beautiful. It teaches them beauty, like good classical beauty and things that are pleasing, especially with the home enthronement. I don't want things like worldly things, like even Disney or anything like that. We don't really partake in any of that. And instead, I think that when you enthrone your home to the Sacred Heart, you're inviting him to every activity, every dinner, every party and guest that you have. And so I just try to keep it as good as I can. I mean, it doesn't mean I'm perfect, but it's good to strive for like the most and then try to meet that. So that's something that I'm passionate about, not saying that everyone else, but I think just because of my life experience, the way that I've experienced it, it makes a big difference for me to root those things out. And God gives you the experience that you need to raise your specific children. And so that's just kind of my tidbit.
Good. Very good.
So,
I think I would say similar. We do let our kids watch TV, or we don't have cable, but we have movies and we have a TV. But I think definitely limiting it and knowing exactly what they're watching, exactly what is being fed to them, not allowing, I never ever allow my kids to use my phone for any reason, because I just think it gets dangerous. And, I know 5-year-olds who know how to get on YouTube and find things on YouTube, and I'm like, that's terrible because ads pop up and you don't want any of that. So I absolutely do not allow that. But if I'm with them, I will let them watch certain things. But I would just say trying to make, the holy so normal that they don't miss out on the Santa Claus and we do some Disney, I'm not going to lie, but I think just making it more important that they know the queens that were saints and the princesses that were saints, and they idolize those princesses and those queens over the Disney princesses. I think that's important. So they play that they're Saint Philomena and they dress up like they're Our Lady. And I think that's really special. And you can have both, I think, but I think just making it a priority that they love their faith more than they love worldly things.
So are you doing anything particular with teaching them music? I know you're a very musical family.
We definitely like music. So we do a lot of hymns, like we're doing some Lent hymns and I'll sing with them. Usually we do that during our morning routine. So we'll do, Our Lives of the Saints and some reading, and then we'll learn a song. So my daughters love it. And my 3-year-old is still singing "O Come, Emmanuel." So I'm like, we need to switch it up. But they love it. Come on, Emmanuel. Right? I know, right?
We're going into Lent, Emmanuel. Come on.
I know, we got to bury the Hallelujah now. So, but it's fun. And we also like listening to, there's a bunch of CDs that the seminarians and the sisters do, and those are great.
Right.
So I definitely recommend those. And they do piano, which is really nice too. But I think keeping good music and good movies is really important. Just filling that void.
That concludes today's episode of The Christian Mother. But don't be sad. The fun continues in part 3. So make sure you join us for the final episode of Mothering Littles with Anna Sandquist and Michelle Landsgard. I'm your host, Wendy Haught, and you've been listening to The Christian Mother.
Thank you for listening to the Catholic Wire. If you have found this show helpful, please say a prayer for all our collaborators. Don't forget to subscribe to our channels and share with your friends. For questions and comments, you may contact us at thecatholicwire.org.